I go need this thing. Oh. Good evening, everyone. Please mute your mic. Can you mute your mic, please? Let's just give let's just give them 1 more minute to join. Can you all hear me? Are you guys hearing me? Let me be sure that you are hearing me. Are you guys hearing me?
Yes, sir. Can hear you, sir.
Okay, I'm coming.
Can hear you, sir.
Okay, so last week, I welcome you all. You guys are welcome. Last week we started our journey into AI. I think a lot of people were not available last week, but I can still recognize some people that were here last week. So last week we began our journey to understanding AI, and we started from the foundation. And I explained that um, whenever you want to build a house, right? When you want to build a house, you do not start building the house from the roof, neither do you start from the window, or neither do you start from furnishing. I explained that for a house to be well structured, you must start from the foundation, and the quality of the foundation will determine how durable that house will be, right? The extent to which it will last and the load that it can carry. That means that a weak foundation will always give birth to a weak building. So no matter how beautiful your house is, if the foundation is not well structured and planned, then it is only with time before it will collapse. So it's the same thing with AI. When it comes to AI, you don't just start learning AI from somewhere. Maybe we come now and start from image generation or creating videos or maybe teaching you how to build an app. No, it doesn't start from that. And a lot of us, we came with different concepts about AI. Each and every one of us, we had different concepts. But after last class, we were able to open you up to a lot of things about AI, about what AI really is, about how it developed over time, what patterns are and why they are important to AI, and how AI learns and how AI gives responses. We also learned about large language models and how that works, and also how that platforms like ChatGPT and Gemini and Claude, they are all built on a large language model technology. That's why they are able to be that intelligent. And also, we also looked at AI ethics. So now you understand what AI is, but understanding a thing is just one. It's one thing to understand something, and then it's another thing to understand how that thing benefits you. You see, if you were living in the, let's say you were living in the before BC, that's before Christ, and I came to you and I offered you a pen, and I said, take this, and then I explained, oh, I put in 100 hours to do this pen. No, I just explain a lot of things, but I don't tell you how this thing can help you. You may appreciate the gift. You may appreciate the gift. You may even like it, right? But you are not going to, you are not going to, you're not going to really use it for, you are not going to need it because you only need something that has value to you, right? So last week we told you all about a little thing about AI, but we did not tell you, or I did not explain how this thing matters to you. So that is what we'll be doing today. I'm going to be attempting to explain how um attempting to explain how AI helps you and how AI can help you to be productive, because you see, the goal of our entirety to life, right, is to be productive.
Sorry to disturb
Please,
you, sir. You are mute, sir. You are mute. We can't hear you.
can you hear me now?
Yes, sir. We can hear you now.
All right. So I was saying that, so for today we are going to be looking at how AI helps us to be productive, because the goal of our entirety to life, right, is to be productive. We are not just here to consume air, right? We are here to be productive, and every technology and everything that we use in life should help us to the end that we are productive. And ancient historical texts tells us that in the beginning of time, when the creator created man, he told man to be fruitful, and to be fruitful means to be productive. So today we are going to be looking at AI productivity and research. I told you all to get a notebook and a pen when coming for classes, so that you can jot down some things, because there are things I'm going to say in class that will not be in the material. As a matter of fact, for you to even understand the material of today, you have to be in class, and you cannot remember everything. That's why you need a second memory, which in this case is your notebook. So your notebook is like an external hard drive that helps you to store things, because your brain is not meant primarily for storing things, it's meant for analyzing information. So having a jotter by your side or something, will always help you to be able to store information so that you don't forget it. For some of us that do creative work, that sometimes that some ideas will enter into your head, and if you waste time and say, "Oh, I'm going to write it later," you end up forgetting it. That's why we try to have either a notepad or um a book by our side, so we can always jot things down. So ensure that you have a notebook dedicated to this class, or maybe if you have an iPad or a laptop or something, you have your notebook section where you jot down the things that we teach in class. So the topic for today is AI productivity and research. Please write that down: AI productivity and research. So let's define productivity. What is productivity? Who can help us? Who can help us define what productivity is? Anybody, please, before we proceed. Who can try? Anyone? I know that productivity has a lot of definition, but any definition is fine. Who can help us? What is productivity? Just explain what you understand by productivity, what it means by to be productive. I will choose
Okay,
somebody.
sir.
All
Can I
right.
say something?
All right, sir.
Okay, to me, in my own little way, I say productivity is the ability or the process of using what is available to get a result that matters
Okay.
at a particular time or to a particular set of people. A positive result.
Okay, thank you very, very much. That is a good one. That's a very good definition. As a matter of fact, maybe we should even use your definition for the class, Professor Gideon. Thank you, sir. So let me give you the definition. I think he has explained everything, but I'm still. Are you guys hearing me? Because some people are saying they cannot hear anything. Let me be sure that you guys are hearing me. If you are not hearing me, let me know, please. Justice, can you hear me? You have a question?
Yes, I can hear you.
All
Well, I
right.
wanted to say something
Okay, well, okay, go on, go on.
about productivity.
All right.
Okay. I would say that productivity is when you are when you are able to produce something or to originate something. That's how I view productivity.
All right. You are all correct. Thank you very much, Mr. Justice. So let me give you the definition. It's a very short definition based on what they've said. Product is not something you don't have to cram it. It's just everybody knows what productivity is. But in this context of AI, I'm just going to go on to define it, and we are going so that we can have a working definition. Because you see that one thing when it comes to teaching and explaining things like this, it is good that everybody is seeing things the same way, so that everybody will not be, everybody will not come with their own concept. We need to define the term so that everybody will be on the same page. So what is productivity? Productivity is achieving a goal by making the best possible use of the resources available to you. Just like Professor Gideon said, it's achieving a goal with the resources that you have. So if I tell you to do something, or I assign a task to you, and you are able to complete that task based on the resources that was made available to you, then you can be said to be productive, right? Now, let me give you an instance. So let's say, for example, that your goal is to pass an exams. Let's say your goal now is to pass exams. You are in school, it's your final year, you're writing your final year exams, and your goal now is to come out, with flying colors in the exams. That's the goal now. So what would the resources now be? Because remember that productivity is achieving a goal based on with the resources that you have. So what will be the resources that will help you to achieve this goal? Number one will be your time. Number two will be your attention. Number three will be your memory, your book, your teachers. Now let me explain your time, because for you to learn, first of all, you need to exchange your time for that learning. For you to go and sit down maybe in the library to learn, that's your time, right? So if time then is a resources, so going to go and sit down in the library, or maybe going for prep, for example, if you're in secondary school, or maybe you're in the university, maybe you go back to your house to read, that moment that you spend to get that information from the book to your head, it's your time that you are spending. So that automatically makes time a resources. So when you are seated there, you need to focus on what you are reading. That means you need to give your attention to what you are reading. That automatically makes attention a resource. Your memory too is also your resource, because you are not going to carry the book into the exams hall, right? You are going to have to transfer the information from the book and store it to your memory. So your memory becomes a resource. So that means that your memory has to be in the best possible state, as possible. It has to be in the best state. Another thing will be your teachers. Even your friends can be your resources. You get? So the ability to use all these resources effectively. So if you spend your time reading, you spend your time trying to get that knowledge into your head, understanding it, maybe asking people to explain where you don't understand, then what will happen to you when you use all these things together? You are going to get that knowledge from that book into your head, and when you go into the exams hall, you'll be able to write. Now, if you decide now that you have exams tomorrow and you decide to go and play ball, now remember that time is always a resource. It depends on how you want to use it. So if you decide to play ball, that is you deciding to use your own resources to go and play ball, right? You give your attention to playing ball at that moment. Now, I'm not saying that playing ball is bad, or don't get me, but in this context, you're supposed to be preparing. But if you decided to spend the time to play ball, you don't want to read, you don't want to even ask any, like you don't care. We don't need to wonder what will happen, because when you go into the exams hall, there is really nothing in your head, because you did not spend the time, you did not spend the resources effectively. So that brings me to a profound statement that everything you are, or everything you ever become in life, is dependent on how you use the resources that are available to you. Money in itself, money is a resource, but money is not the only resources. Money is just one of the resources. If it can help you get to a goal, then it becomes a resource, right? So the ability to achieve anything in life, anything at all, depends on how you effectively manage the resources that you have, or mismanage them. And that brings us back to AI. So AI now, let's look at AI as a resource. How does AI help us to be productive? How does AI help us to be effective? Because if you are talking about using AI, it's not just let's use AI. Okay, how will the AI help me? How will it make my life better than before? Right? That is the only reason why we want to use AI, because You've been promised that, okay, this thing can help you do things better, it can help you think better, it can help you work better. So today we are going to be looking at all those things that can help us achieve for learning. Let's start with okay, but before of you has submitted your assignment, let me be sure. If you haven't submitted your assignment, if you haven't submitted your assignment, please do well to submit the assignment. And if you have not registered, the registration for this particular cohort is closing on 20th, because we cannot keep admitting new people. By then we would have gone far. There's no need of admitting new people. So please, 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 please try and register before Friday. So let's look at AI productivity and research. How does AI help us to be productive? First of all, before we start talking about how AI helps us to be productive, there are three things that you need to understand. And these three things are like the major human limitations. What are the three top limitations that we have as human beings? Number one is our time. What that means is that everybody has just 24 hours in a day. No matter how rich you are, you cannot have 25 hours in a day. You cannot buy more time. So time is one of the most limiting factors that irrespective of your class, your wealth, your power, you have just that amount of time. Another limitation that man has is our memory. Now, there is only so much that you can store in your memory, right? Remember that we're talking about how AI helps us. For us to talk about how AI helps us, there are certain things we need to understand about ourselves first. Number one being that our time is limited, and number two being that our memory too. It's not like our memory is limited, but we do not have that luxury of time to to learn everything in the world and put it inside our head, right? It's not everything that our brain is built more for thinking than for storing of things. For example, if I ask you now, can you remember the first topic that you were taught in your JS2? Maybe your social studies, your JS2. Can you remember the very first topic that you were taught? You are not going to remember it, right? Does that mean that you are dull? No, it doesn't mean you are dull. It doesn't mean that you are unintelligent. It simply means that our brain is not really designed for that kind of like just storing information and remembering it exactly the way it is. The third thing is our attention. Our ability to focus is very, very, very limited, and it's diminishing by the day. Every day, our ability to focus is becoming smaller than before. As a matter of fact, the research says now that on social media has made it such that people cannot focus past a certain time span. If they even start watching your video, sometimes even most of us say we are guilty of it. You scroll to a video before the person starts talking, you've already scrolled past because you are impatient, right? So these three things are like the major limitations that we have as humans, and AI helps us to, should I say, complement for these limitations that we have. So how? Now, at the end of this course, this is what we are going to be looking at. But at the end of this course, this is what you're supposed to learn. At the end of this course, you're supposed to understand how AI helps you learn, right? How AI helps you conduct research, how AI helps you to understand how knowledge is created and managed, how AI helps you build an effective note-taking system, how AI can help you create a personal productivity system, how AI can help you assist you like AI assistant, like a secretary, right? And also you also be learning how to design AI workflows. So let's look at AI for learning. How does AI really help us learn? How does AI help us learn? So before we talk about learning, let's first understand what learning is about. What is learning? Who can help us define what learning is? Anybody, please. Who can help us define learning? What is learning? Just try. Professor Gideon, do you want to help us?
Okay, I would say learning is the process of intentionally or unintentionally letting a piece of information stick to your memory for future use.
Okay. That's one. So can you try? Let me ask you another question. Can you tell us how AI helps us learn? Can you just try that as well? How does AI help us to learn?
Okay, AI helps us to learn faster because instead of spending time to search through different thoughts, AI gives us summary of a collection of different definitions of a particular thing to give
Good,
us
good.
a
Hold on.
unified
Yeah, hold on.
definition.
You mentioned something. You said that AI helps us learn faster, right? So if something helps you learn faster, or if something helps you to achieve a work faster, what did that thing save you of?
Time.
Good. So you see why when we say that AI helps the when we are talking of AI in productivity, you mentioned that AI helps you learn faster because the traditional method of learning, you have to wait for your teachers to come and teach you. For example, if you want to understand certain topics, even if you go to Google, there is only so much you can learn, right? But now you can go online, you can go on your chat GPT or your Gemini or your Claude, and you literally type in something and you get information that would have normally taken you maybe so long to research, or let's even say you wanted to go to the library. For those of us that were frequent back then in the traditional library, you know how long it would take you to get a piece of information. For example, for you to even put together a piece of information, you might go to that library for over 2 weeks trying to search and search and search, come here, search this book, search this one, right? And at the end of the day, you won't even get what you're looking for. And after a long, before you finish piecing together the information, a lot of time would have gone. But now you can just we just in just 2-3 minutes, you just type in a prompt, and then AI helps you bring out the information, arranges the information um for you, which means that what did AI really save you of? It saved you of your time, right? And remember that time is life. Anything that is wasting your time is wasting your life. So if you something that you were supposed to use 2 weeks to do, AI now does it for you in 5 minutes. That is I don't know, I would call that one hyper productivity. So if you've done it in 5 minutes, that means you now have 1 week, 6 days, and no 1 week, 6 days, 23 hours to still 23 hours and even 55 minutes, right? To do other things. Why? Because something that should have taken you 2 weeks to do was done in just 5 minutes. So that's a hyper productivity. So you can see how AI helps us to be productive. Just like, okay, think about, let's even leave AI and look at other technological products. Think of things like cars. Think of having to trek from your house. Let's say, for example, you want to go to church. You start trekking it from your house to the church. You would have spent like this 1 hour, 2 hours, right? But now we have transportation system, and you can just come out from your house, enter your car, and then in the next 5 to 7 minutes, you're already in that place. So what did the car really save you of? It saved you of your time. So that tells you that any technology that is invented must save you of your time. If that technology does not help to save you of your time, then it's not effective to you in any way. They listen down to a hole. People used to use their hands to dig. I'm sure that at the beginning of time there were no holes. There were no holes. People had to invent it. So how have you ever thought about how these people were how these people used to dig the grounds when there were no holes? Maybe they used to use their hands or sticks, right? But somebody invented hole, and that hole saved them a lot of time. So every technological invention must save time, and that is the same with AI. But the difference now with AI is that AI is like, I don't know if you say 100, if you say 1,000, AI gives you like 1,000% increase, in the sense that what would have taken you imagine something that would take you 1 week and you do it in 5 minutes. That's a max um productivity. So you can see how AI helps us learn. It shortens the time for learning. It helps us get information uh quicker and faster and even more organized than we would have gotten in the traditional way. So next, let's move on to AI as a personal a personal tutor. Now, how does AI help you as a personal tutor? Let's say, for example, that you are a CEO, and you wake up in the morning, you have to schedule your day, you have a lot of meetings to attend. There are just a lot of things you need to do. Maybe you need to draft a memo, you want to speak to some people, and you have all these things scattered together, right? before, some people that have a secretary, you can just call your secretary and say, okay, this is what I want to do, this is what I want to do. Your secretary will now write it down, right. And at the end of the day, the secretary will now arrange the information and get back to you. But that secretary is going to spend a lot of time trying to draft those things because she needs to organize the information, put them well, maybe help you draft your memo, draft this one, draft that one, and then get back to you. Let's say 1 hour or 2 hours. But AI can now do that in same minutes. If we are having a meeting in our organization, most times when we are having meetings, all I just do is I just go to ChatGPT and I record the meeting. At the end of the meeting, I just stop the recording and then I ask AI to turn it to a minute. And it does that in literally split seconds. Now, how long would it take somebody to stay and start listening to the listening and draft, writing the minutes one by one by one? So you see that AI just has a way of speeding up things, right? So you don't have an excuse to be less productive anymore because now you have a tool that can triple your productivity, right? So AI can now help you explain concepts simply, can help you create summaries, can help you. For example, let's say you have, let's say you come across a concept, or maybe they're teaching something in class and that thing looks very, very complicated. Let me say you don't understand. You can just simply go to AI and tell it, you give it a prompt. Next week, we are going to start doing prompting. Next week, we are going into prompting. So let's say you go into AI now and you give it a prompt. You say, explain this thing to me like a 12-year-old child. You see the way the AI will now break it down, give you very, very simple concept. And at the end of the day, it saved you a lot of time of going to go and learn because there's some, that people learning, people learn in different ways. There are a lot of people that understand things quickly. They're fast learners, and then they have the ones that are not too fast, but they have the slow ones. So AI is able to balance it because it's not every time that your teacher has the time to come and teach you. So you can just go to AI and then give it the information. You ask it to explain it to you. Okay, explain it from this angle. Explain it from this angle. Break it down. And then it does that for you. And then it saves you a lot of time. So you can see how AI helps us to be effective. So if you have 24 hours in a day, maybe before 24 hours was not enough for you. But with AI now, you're supposed to effectively, let me even say this, that if with AI you are still trying to do everything by yourself, you are not wise. Because if you are really, really wise, you should not be focused on doing anything that you feel like this thing can be automated, right? Or this thing is repetitive. Just pass it to AI. Just pass it to AI. For example, you wake up in the morning and you want to put your to-do list. You can just go to ChatGPT, put on the voice recorder, and then you start talking about your day. Okay, this is what I would like to achieve. I want to do this. I want to do this. I want to repair my car, and then I want to speak to this person. I want to, when you finish giving it all the things that you want to do for the day, you can then tell the AI, because let's say, for example, you've been working with ChatGPT for a while. The ChatGPT must have understood you to know what you are into or what you are after or the kind of person that you are, what you do. Then you can now tell AI, arrange this to-do list for me in order of priority based on my goal as a human or my purpose. Arrange it in order of priority. Put the most important ones first, and then the least important ones you put it, you put it at the lower side, and AI does that for you. So you will just know, okay, I'm supposed to study, I'm supposed to do this, I'm supposed to do that. AI will just help you arrange anything. So you see, it acts like a personal assistant for you, right? And if you know how to program, you can simply just program the AI such that in the morning when you wake up, it just reminds you of your goal and say, good morning, for example, good morning, blessing. This is what what you have to do today. You forgot to do this one yesterday. Okay, do this, and you see how it just simplifies your life. So it kind of creates a system around your life, so you are not busy doing everything and not achieving. There is a way you can be busy feeling like you are so productive. You are busy, and then at the end of the day, you realize that when you look back, you did not really achieve anything. It was a busy day, but a useless day, because you cannot really point to something that you were able to achieve, right? But with AI now, AI can help you prioritize the things and say, okay, these ones are the most important ones. When you finish these ones, then you can now use the remaining energy and focus on these ones. So when you wake up, you don't start doing things that are not that will drain your energy and don't let you be productive for the rest of the day. Now let me add this balance, because this is very important. Let me balance it now. This does not mean that AI replaces learning or thinking. It doesn't mean that you stop thinking for yourself because you feel like, oh, I have AI. AI will do it for me. After all, they taught us in phronesis that you can use AI, and they even showed us how to use it. So what is my brain for? Let me just push everything to AI. No. Do you know what happens to somebody when you stop using something? Do you know what happens? That thing begins to diminish, because there's no such thing as something being neutral. It's either you are going up or you are going down in life. That's just the way it is. So for example, if you leave your house and travel and you come back, you can never meet that house in the same way. Either you see cobwebs, right, dust everywhere, but something must definitely happen to it. So that's the same thing with your brain. When you stop thinking for yourself, when you stop analyzing for yourself, what happens? You begin to decline. That means you will not be able to reason clearly again. You will not be able to analyze things clearly. You begin to decline. So AI should just be something that helps you get started. But for example, if you use AI to create a to-do list for your day, you are still supposed to look at it and see if what it designed for you was right. So you are still like the last layer of assessment to be sure that what this AI is saying is correct, to be sure that the information that is giving you is correct. All right, so let's move on to AI in research. So how does AI help us in research? Who can tell us what a research is? What is research? Not prof this time or any other person. What do you understand by research? Anybody? What is a research? Or what is research? Anyone? Anyone? Should I call somebody? I will mention somebody.
Yeah,
Oh,
like
okay.
to my own understanding, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
To my own understanding, I think research is the ability of you going outside your thinking, your feed, to go and know more about a particular thing.
Okay, so tell us how AI can help us in research.
I don't know if you understand. Like you going out to do more research, guys.
Yes, I get you. So now tell us how AI can help us in research. Just use your brain and tell us how can AI help us in research.
Um,
You say?
AI can actually help us in research because, like, for example, now when
Don't worry, we are listening to you. Just say
like, for
something.
example, now AI can actually help us in research by just us typing the what we need to do the research about, then just because it has already been programmed. AI has already, it's a kind of, they have already have their ideas about it. So AI will just go straight away to the database and just bring out what we are researching because that's actually been programmed there. So that's how it helps us.
Okay.
That's my own understanding. No, I don't know if it is true.
All right. Thank you very much. You have tried. Like I say, the goal is not always to be correct. Don't always hope to be correct every time. Be correct, right? Just put out something. By the time you put out something and then you listen, then you correct your mind. You say, okay, this is what I said. This is what this person said. Then you bring it together and then you learn. That's how learning happens. So let me just talk about research. Now, when we talk about research, for you to research, or when somebody wants to embark on a research, that means that you do not know the answer to that problem. For example, let me give you the difference between learning and research. If, for example, I ask, like I said, what is productivity, for example, or how many classes of food do we have? That question already has like a definite answer. That means there is an answer to that question already. I don't have to invent it. I don't have to create it. I don't only have to search it. How many classes of food do we have? And we have 6 classes of food, Abby. Uh, Prince, please, how many classes of food do we have? Are you with us?
Yes, 6 classes now.
Okay, 6 classes of food. Thank you, sir. The great public health scientist. Okay, so we have
Mm.
six classes of food. So you see that question already had an answer to it, right? But when it comes to research does not have an answer. For example, if I say what is the major cause of death in Ugeli, Now, that question already is going to prompt a research because there is no definite answer. That means we will have to first of all collect information, we have to collect data, we have to analyze this data, we have to prove the facts before we can come to a conclusion that okay, the reason for the high cost of debt or the high cost of poverty or the high cost of wealth or maybe anything at all is this, right? So you can see that learning now has a definite answer. For example, if I ask, for example, how many, apart from food, now let's use another thing. Or what do I even use now? Or how many colors does the rainbow have? That question already has a definite answer. uh But if I now decide to ask another question and I say, what is the reason for the high cost of infant death or maybe children dying, or what is the reason for a lot of dropouts in Delta State or a lot of young people dropping out from school in Delta State? Now you can bring assumptions. You can say is this, is that, but until we do a research, we cannot really come to a conclusion that this is the cause. So you can see the difference between learning and research. So research is something that does not already have a definite answer, but you want to search out the answer, right? So AI now helps us to achieve that faster. So how can AI help us in research? AI can help us to collect data. So let's go with the idea of what was the first thing that I mentioned then? What was the first research topic? Let's come up with a research. Let's come up with a random research topic. I think all of us here we are educated, so someone should bring a research random topic, and then let's see how we can use AI to to um to handle that research. Someone should give us a random research topic. It doesn't have to be complicated, just anything at all, but a research topic, something valid. Anybody?
Okay. Drug abuse
Okay.
in let's just say drug abuse in Lagos State.
Okay, what is the cause of drug abuse in Lagos State,
Ye-
for example? Okay,
Yes, yes,
so let's
yes.
say we want to do that, for example. Let me share my screen. Let's say, for example, we want to do that in Lagos State and we want to use AI to find out what is the high cost of sorry, what is the cause of drug abuse or the high level of drug abuse in Delta State. So we'll just go to, I don't know if my screen is showing. Is my screen showing? Are you guys seeing my screen? Like I'm on ChatGPT now. Are you seeing it?
No, sir. No,
Yeah, you are still seeing my face.
no, sir.
Yeah, we can
Yes,
see your
sir.
face.
Okay. Let me see if I can share my screen. Oh, well, I can't share my screen. I cannot share my screen. I don't know if it's. Let me see. Okay, I cannot share my screen at the moment, but I'm going to look into it. I'm going to look into it. But let's say, for example, that we want to do a research on that. So all you just need to do is you go to ChatGPT, you collect the data. So Chat, you will now ask you, and when you want to do things like that, there is an option that is called deep research. I don't know why I cannot share my screen on this. I think next week we might be using. Okay, I think I've seen it. I think I've seen it. I'm coming. Oh. Are you guys seeing it now? Are you guys seeing my screen? The screen I'm trying to share. Oh, is not working. Let's just leave it. I will explain. I will share my screen during the next class. and explain everything. So let's just move on. Let's move on. So let's say now we want to use AI for research. So we can now help instead of going around. And I'm not saying that you don't need to still go around to collect facts. Definitely there are facts that you need to still go around to collect, right? But there are already facts that have already been established. And AI can help you collect those facts faster and then give it to you. And you can now use it to make you can use it as your reference point to come to your conclusion. So let's move on to, I think we have less than 20 minutes remaining. There's something I'm trying to get to. So let's look at knowledge management. How does AI help you to manage knowledge? Now, one of the biggest problems that students have, for example, is is managing knowledge. For example, I was talking about the fact that people don't like to write, that people don't like to copy their notes. They just prefer to listen. And most of the times when you are just listening, you forget those things quicker, but it is easier to remember something that you wrote down. So how does AI now help you as a knowledge management system? So let's say, for example, you are in class and a teacher is speaking, right? Let's say maybe you're not getting what the person is saying, or maybe the person is too fast. You can simply just use the voice option, like I explained. There's a voice option in every AI. So you can just click on that voice option and you start recording what the teacher is saying. And when you're done recording what the teacher is saying, you can now ask AI to break down everything that the teacher was saying and explain it to you, maybe in a way that you will understand. So let's say it was too complex. You can, let's say, maybe it's chemistry or maybe a complex subject. You can say, explain it to me like I'm a 15-year-old. Use simple concepts, that are relatable. Use stories. You can even ask it to use stories to explain it to you, right? And AI will pick up that topic and then create a story around it and teach you. So it will be like you are reading a story, right? But you are still learning. So you see the way that AI just has a way of simplifying everything. So normally it will take you the whole night to read, and sometimes you can even spend the whole night reading, and when you stand up from there, you've forgotten everything. But there are people that once they listen to a story, if you listen to it like a story itself to start with, when you stand up, you're always going to remember that story and say, okay, this is how the story went. So let's say you are in the exam hall and you're answering question. When you get to a question you don't remember, you can remember the story. And once you remember the story, you now remember. One thing that story does. Let me tell you why story is very powerful. The reason why a story is powerful is because it paints your imagination. It doesn't leave you guessing. So if I tell you that there was a duck, you imagine a duck in your head that had two children. It's easy for you to paint it out. And then they lived under a mango tree. You see, a story uses concepts that you're already familiar with, so it doesn't stress your brain to try to paint an imagination. So once they ask you now that how many ducks did your children have, it's easy for you to remember that they had two dogs and they lived under a mango tree, because in your head that imagination has already been painted. That's why a story is very powerful. Maybe you should even try this if you're still a student. If you're in class and the teacher is teaching, you can just record it, and then at the end you ask AI to explain it to you, put it in story anyhow you want it. You want AI to do it for you, and then it does it for you. And you see that outside the class you have a personal tutor, right? You have a personal tutor that can explain things for you in the way that you understand. So if the teacher explains it in the way that you don't understand, you can leave the teacher, and then when you get back to the house, you use your AI to teach yourself. So let's move to let's I'm going to be dropping the note after now. So let's move to personal productivity systems. I'm trying to get to this part. Let's move to personal productivity system. How does AI really helps us to create a system around our productivity? So let's talk about productivity. I explained earlier that productivity does not mean to be busy, and as a matter of fact, you can be very busy and not effective, right? So the fact that you see somebody, going up and down, doing this and that, that doesn't mean the person is effective. You can just be going around and not achieve anything. So a person can be busy all the time and achieve very, very little. So how does AI help us to be productive? Already with all these things is about productivity. So even the learning showed you how AI can help you to be productive in learning and the rest of the things that we listed. But let's take it down to things like things like planning. What are the things that limit productivity? Let's talk about the things that limits productivity. Most of the things that limit productivity is number one, poor planning. Poor planning. One of the things that limits productivity is poor planning. Number two is disorganization. Number three is distractions. And number four is lack of clarity. That means you know that if you want to do something and you are not clear on what that thing is, it will even be hard for you to do the thing because you cannot you cannot achieve a goal you do not understand. Do you get? So for you to first of all achieve the goal, you have to first of all understand the goal. So that brings us to a subtopic under personal productivity system, which is systems and goals. So how can you use AI now to build systems and goals? Now, the most effective way to achieve any goal in this life is to build a system around that goal. Planning is part of system building, but planning is not the only thing in in building systems to achieve your goal. Let me give you an instance. Let me give you an instance. For example, let's say that I want to lose weight. Let's say for example that I want to lose weight and I say, okay, every day I'm going to go to the no mind you, I've not been going to the gym before, and I just wake up and say that I will start going to the gym every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Now, if you might go to the gym on Monday, on Tuesday, you've not been doing this thing, you are using motivation. And you know it's good because motivation is what gets you started on the goal, but motivation will not always be enough to sustain a goal, especially a goal that will last for a long period of time. So that motivation is needed first of all to start the goal. So you are motivated that you want to lose weight. Maybe you want to lose 20 kg. So you go to the gym on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. You are active, and let's say the next day, Monday again, you went, and then on Tuesday something happened, and then your day was ruined. You got back to the house late. You couldn't meet up. On Wednesday, you started saying, "I beg, I beg." Thursday, before you know, you have, you have, you have given up on that goal, right? Then there is another person that also wants to lose weight, but the person understands that um if they start going to the gym like this, they are going to be tired because this is not a habit that they've built before, right? So they have to start from somewhere. So that person can decide to say, okay, because I know that if I start this way, I'm going to give up. Let me start from maybe walking around. Maybe you can just say, okay, every evening I will walk to this place. You see, that does not that one, the brain does not fight it. It's easy. So you just wait every evening from 5 to 6. Maybe you just walk from your house. Maybe turn if you're living in an estate, just turn the estate, come back to your house, and then you repeat. You just keep doing it. So your brain is not feeling it, and then over time you begin to add one layer, one layer, one layer. You see, that is a more sustainable way, to begin your weight loss journey. So by the time you start walking, a time will come you start jogging. Then you start jogging. You are not going far, just the little you can do. You start jogging. A time will come you start running, and then a time will come you start say, okay, let me start using a treadmill to run, and then that takes you to the gym. So you start using a treadmill, and then after that you say, okay, let me start carrying some weight, and then you start carrying weight, little by little by little by little. That is more sustainable than waking up one morning and deciding that you want to get into the gym and then start carrying everything. You are going to lose motivation with time. So you see that the reason why the system of starting small small will be sustainable is that there is proper planning, right? So that goal, now you have the goal to lose weight, and then you have a proper plan on how to lose that weight. That's why I said that planning is part of system planning is part of building system, but planning is not the only thing. So you now have the goal, then you build a proper plan. Let's say for example you want to pass your exams. This one is simple. You want to pass your exams. If you decide that at the end, let's say tomorrow is the exams. I know that most of us we did this thing. Tomorrow is exams. Then that night you just carry all your books and say, I want to read. Nobody should disturb me this night. I'm going to read from morning to night. Then you go out in the morning. You open the book. You don't even understand anything because you have not been reading since. Then in the night you try to read, and then when you want to read, you are so tired. You now say, let me just sleep for 2 hours. Then I'll wake up. Then I'll read till morning. Let's say you started by 8. Say, let me sleep. I'll wake up by 10. then you just sleep. So before you know, you wake up by 12. Then you wake up by that 12, you try to read, nothing is entering your head. Then you say, okay, let me just sleep for 1 hour. Then when I wake up, I will not even sleep again. Then you wake up by 6 and you didn't end up reading. That's how you go to the exam hall, and then you end up failing that exam. It's not the devil that did it, it's just poor planning. Whereas the person that decided that, okay, I'm going to be reading just one leaf. Let's not even say read the full book every day. Let's say the textbook is 40 leaves now, it has 40 leaves, and the person decides that, okay, for every day I'll read just one leaf. Every day I'll read just one leaf. So day one he reads one, day two he reads this one, like that, like that. He's not stressing himself, just taking it one step, to the next step, to the next step, to the next step. That person has a structured system and will likely achieve that goal than the person who decides that it is the day before exams that is going to start reading, right? So AI can help you if you have a goal. Now, I said this to explain how you can build systems to reach your goal. Now, AI can help you to design personal systems that can help you achieve any goal that you want. AI can help you design that system. For example, there was a time I wanted to start posting frequently on social media because at first I didn't want to show my face, I just wanted to be behind the scenes. I've always loved to be behind the scenes, right? So I wanted to start putting out my face. So I was like, okay, I'll be creating content every day. Every day I'll create content. Every day I'll create content. So I started. It's not easy to create a content and then put it out. Or before you create the content, then you now edit it and you now repeat these things every day. I now found out that I was spending almost like 50% of my time creating content. And I was like, this is not sustainable. If I continue like this, I won't be able to be effective in other areas. So I now went to AI, and my AI, because I use one particular AI for everything that I do, and then the rest is just for backup. So my ChatGPT understands my workflow very well. So I went to ChatGPT. I said, that I'm getting stressed every day because of this goal. My goal is I want to put out a lot of content. ChatGPT just told me that my goal is valid, but my system is not. How did he even put it? Now I can't remember the exact word, but what he was trying to say is that my system is not realistic, right? Trying to put content every day. What will happen to the day when you are not motivated? So it now helped me to create another system and told me instead of trying to shoot content every day, why not gather the ideas? So let's say you want to put out 5 contents this week. You have the idea. Then on Sunday, you shoot all the content at once, you edit it at once. Then you post. On Monday, you don't have to think of building any content. You just need to post. So you schedule the post. So on Monday, you post. On Tuesday, you post. And that was wonderful. And what I did was I just used one weekend and I shot the full content for the month and edited it. So any day that if I wake up on the right side of the bed, whether I wake up on the right side or on the wrong side of the bed, I'm still going to post. Whether I am feeling, even if I fall sick, right, my post will still come up. So you that is watching it, you may feel like I am posting every day. I'm not posting every day. I don't even have that strength to post every day. But what I did was that I designed a system that helped me. So since I have already created all my posts, it is now easy for me to now focus on other things because I have to attend to other things. I have to attend to other things, right, that I'm involved in. So I don't need to spend all my time creating content and getting tired at the end of the day. You get? So AI now helped me. Every time AI will be telling me that your system, and I used to get angry sometimes, like, what do you mean by my systems are not, at least I knew some things about systems, but I didn't know that even my knowledge was limited. So AI was one what helped me to create structures around all my work, right? For example, if you look at Phronesis, for example, when you come to Phronesis, we already have a system. You have to register, and then when you register, you send your name to your class rep. Your class rep now enrolls you, and then after the class, we record the class, and then we put it out for you to go and watch. All those things are called system. Just imagine that for every time that somebody joined Phronesis, I need to come and start teaching them again. But because this class is being recorded, it is easy for me to just put it there. So if you like, join next week. Once you join next week, all we just need to do is give you the link and say, go and watch. And you go and watch. You see how that system helps us save time. And it was AI that helped to give me some ideas. When I was building, anywhere I'm stuck, I go to AI. I say, okay, I'm stuck here. What do we do? How do we manage this? Right? How do we handle this? How do we handle this one? Right? Even down to creating, for example, Influences, we have people, we have videos, we have learning materials, we have podcasts. It was AI that helps us, that gave us the idea to do most of these things, right? So if you like to listen, oh, we have that for you. If you like to watch, we have that to you. If you like to read, we have that to you. So that system favors everybody. So you see how AI can help us. And then AI now helps us create these things. For example, the notes, for example, I can decide, okay, I want to talk about productivity today. I will just go to AI, I will just dump my ideas to it and then tell it to organize it for me. And AI does that for me. I turn it into a PDF, and that settles it. I just need to edit a few things, because of course it's not AI that will do everything. I just need to look at a few things, remove what I don't want, add what I want, and that saves me a lot of time. Imagine if I wanted to sit down and start typing everything for everybody. That would be too much work. I would die before my time. You get? So we have just 4 minutes remaining. This class is always too short, right? So you can see how AI can help you build systems around your goal. So what I want you to do personally in this week is find something that has been stressing you. Find something that has been like a bottleneck to you, something that used to give you, like, maybe you spend so much time doing it, and then you are stressed, you keep repeating it every day. Let's, for example, if you have a skill that you are into or something that you do, just go to AI and discuss with it and say, give me other ways that I can use, or help me design a system that I can help to achieve this goal without necessarily spending so much of my time, or without giving in so much. Help me create a better system to this, and then see what it gives you, right? So these are just one of the ways to use AI. And then we already spoke about AI assistant, and then building personal AI workflows. We have just 3 minutes left. I would have really loved to talk about this, but we have just 3 minutes left, and I have a class with founders cohorts in the next 3 minutes. Their class starts from 9 to 10. So what is going to happen is that next. I don't know why this thing is muted. Sorry. So we are going into prompting next week. Last one, but I'm putting out the material so you can read up on it. But next week I'm still going to explain it on how to build a personal workflow with AI, and then we'll now start talking about prompting. So is there any question so far? How was the class? Is there any question? Is there something you didn't understand, something you want me to throw more light on? Any question? We have just 2 minutes left before the time runs out. Prof Gideon, any questions so far?
No, from my end, there's no question. It was really, really inspiring learning all these things. It made my brain think a lot easier about this AI stuff.
Okay, so the assignment link will be out tomorrow, and see you all next week, Thursday. So the materials also will be dropping. Please do well to look at it again, and also go through the material that will be dropped. So thank you very much, and have a wonderful weekend, everybody. Have a nice weekend. How far you now? What were you saying?